Greetings and salutations, what is family? It's your boy Big Frank. You're locked into Just Conversations, wherever this may find you in the world, in the universe. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, grand rising, wherever you're at in the world. Tap in. You're locked in with your boy Big Frank. And my guest today happens to be Uniquia. Greetings. How are you?
Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings.
I'm good, family. How are you?
I am well. I am well. Now, this is a friend of mine. We go way back. So far back that I got a massage table. I'm moving back to her because I look at it. And I haven't forgotten about her. I just be running and I just be busy. And I got it. And it's coming back to you. It's coming. It's coming. It's gonna surprise you.
I said at this point it's his. It belongs to you now.
Well, I'm like, man, let me get this out every time. And I still forgot. I still forgot. So what you got going on? What's happening in your world personally? What you got going on?
I mean, I'm just, same old, striving, doing what I got to do. Working. I done came up with a plan or whatever that I wanted to do with the kids for the youth. Kind of sort of the same thing that I was thinking of doing when I was running.
Yeah.
I just didn't have people to help me to put the information in the program together.
Gotcha.
I did go to somebody in regards to the program, and they kind of stole my idea. You know what I'm saying? They had the space, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They had the building and everything already. They already knew about the 501c3 thing,
Wow.
and they kind of just took off with it or whatever on their own. But, if it's for you, it's for you.
Absolutely, 100%.
So the ideals and everything still fresh in my mind.
Gotcha.
Every time I get an inkling, I go and write, you know what I mean,
Absolutely.
add to it or whatever. So I am looking for anybody that is out there that is willing to help me to actually work with the youth and put it together.
Okay.
So when I say youth, I mean like comprehensible age, maybe like 4th grade up,
Gotcha.
to teenagers or whatever. My son, he's 13. So up to that age or maybe 16, just to engage the youth. That's pretty much what I'm looking to do.
So we'll even talk more after this for how I can get a better understanding. And then if I can assist, for sure. And if I can assist with yours and also even what I mentioned prior to us coming on, if we can collaborate in some kind of way, I think that would be a great asset as well. So we get into that.
For sure.
Are you still doing the vegan?
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Okay.
So, the consistency, I definitely be having a problem with that or whatever because I have so much going on. But I am still doing it. I just made a pizza. I'm trying to get into content creation.
Okay.
But I suck at it really bad. So I definitely got a lot of stuff in my phone that I can produce. I just need help getting it together. And when I ask my kid, he act like it's just so much work.
It's so much work. Is it work? Yes. And it's extra work because his mom asking. Come on. Okay. I just did my mom podcast. I'm like, Mom, now, come on. Okay. Come on, Mom, for real. But for sure, also even with that. So let's just talk because I can assist with that as well. Okay. If you already have content.
Yes, for sure. I have a lot of content.
Just about putting it together and just setting time to post it. Now I say that because I can do it for somebody else, but myself, let's not talk about it. But let's go ahead and dive into this conversation. Now, what are your thoughts on this current word I've been using is political landscape overall? What's your thoughts upon those who have run, got petitions and signatures, and those who are in place? What's your thoughts about the current candidates across the board?
The current run. So I big up Micaiah
for sure,
because she definitely have a lot of influence on the millennials.
Oh, for sure.
She can get them going. I commend her tremendously for pulling off what she pulled off in 2 weeks because the stress that brings, you know what I mean? Right. And I had time.
Yeah, right.
I went through the same thing as far as going out, collecting signatures and stuff like that. It is a lot of work.
Yeah. So I'm going to do a quick pause. For those who may not be aware, was it 2 years ago?
Yeah, 2023.
2023, it was Uniquia, Demetrius, and Nick running for office and for the mayor's seat. Yeah. Y'all are all on the same ballot. So just to give you guys some clarity on that, she has experience in this journey. And I do concur with you regarding Micaiah to come to City Hall and in 2 weeks be able to produce such a thing is such a proof of
Man,
the
that's
impact
awesome.
that
Right.
you really have. Because, like you said, I see y'all petitioning. I'm like, y'all go ahead, but proceed.
Yeah. So Nick actually he was on his own ballot.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Me and Demetrius was on the same ballot, and Nick was on his own
Okay. Thank you
ballot.
for that, Curtis.
But like I said, it was still work. You know, we still had to go out and get them signatures, and they even tried to challenge the signatures.
Yeah.
They challenged theirs just on the strength of like a lot of millennials they printed. You know.
Wow.
And I mean, at the end of the day, it's like if that's how you sign, that's how you
That's
sign.
how you sign.
So we did end up getting challenged. We did take it to court. We did have to go get affidavits signed, people saying that they actually signed the
Wow.
petition. And we got back on the ballot. So that was a big deal or whatever.
Yeah.
Did we get chosen for the seats? No, we didn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it was a good experience.
For sure.
And I myself personally, I'm still doing what I said I was going to do.
Absolutely.
When I was running for city council. Still working with the youth, still trying to make
Yeah.
it better. So that's where I'm at with that.
No, good stuff. And I think that the experience is necessary, but you also get details about what it takes to make it happen.
For sure.
So what happens is with this run with Micaiah, and I know that Dimitri was there to assist the fact that, hey, I know what the challenges are.
Right.
Let me help you bypass that.
Right.
And I think that is, nobody was jealous, nobody was envious, it was truly support there. And I think
Right.
that is admirable. And I was at this, even to the city hall council meeting where she came back and she spoke again. And I said, oh, we had about 60 people of color
Right.
in the room, but she came back and she said something that I always thought was just profound. And she said, even though I came 2 weeks ago, I didn't have enough information, I was still passionate, but I did my due diligence and I read the city charter. And really, I said, yeah, clock that T.
What?
And that was an experience for me. That's it. That's what I'm
Yes,
talking.
for sure. That part had me. I'm like, okay, my girl came back and
Ready.
she's like, okay, wait. First, I had to regulate.
No,
you know what I'm
valid,
saying? Let you
valid.
know I'm not here to play. We finna get this together.
Yeah.
Then she came back like, I didn't know enough, but I did my due diligence and I
Absolutely.
read the charter and I'm here. We got
Valid.
some work to do.
It was very professional, very classy, and well spoken, and still passionate.
Right,
You know, so
for
all
sure.
those components, like I said, it shows. And I'm truly excited to see what this election yields for the city of Niagara Falls. And it is my prayer, my hope that we really make some changes and adjustments. But now, let us advance a little bit further. Before we do that, we're going to take a quick break. Don't go nowhere, because we're about to get into a conversation that you might think is real spicy. It's my top-rated video on the page. Don't judge me, but I did what I had to do. We'll talk about that when we get back. You're locked into Big Frank right here on Just Conversations.
Menthol is not just a flavor. It's a manipulative way for big tobacco to target, attract, and addict Black Americans. Tobacco companies aggressively market menthol products using elements of Black culture, putting more products on shelves in Black communities and making them cheaper. And it's not just an injustice, it's killing us. Smoking-related illnesses are the #1 cause of death in the African American community. Help us fight this injustice at notjustmenthol.org.
Hey, welcome back. We are here with Uniquia right here on Just Conversations, just chopping it up, having a good conversation and dialogue. And I asked her a question. I said, what's one of the things you want to highlight? And she said, I want to talk about that Bridgette video. So I'm a yield the floor to you. And
Man. So the video, when I saw the video, it kind of like, it didn't feel authentic.
yeah,
To be honest. As soon as she started talking, I said, ooh, I know who that is. I know who talking. That's not Bridgette talking. Me, myself, personally, I think that Colin Murray wrote that out for Bridgette. When I first started going to City Hall or whatever, there was issues that I wanted to speak on, but I wasn't really like a person that like speaks in front of crowds.
Yeah.
I get a little anxiety. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I had Colin, this when she used to come to the school. She used to come to the entrepreneur school all the time. Yeah. And we was having a conversation and I pretty much expressed that and she wrote out something for me. So basically I said, you know, what my intentions were, what I was trying to say, and
Yeah.
she wrote it out for me, and it was like quick and simple and to the, you know.
Yeah.
So when Bridget started talking, I said, "Ooh, that's common."
Wow.
Bridget like this. She same color as me, but she didn't even sound right saying bro. If
Mm-hmm.
you go back and watch the video, like, because that's not your dialogue. You don't talk like that.
Yeah.
So I'm listening or whatever, and I'm just like, ooh, cringing. After the video, I'm like, I gotta watch that again. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah,
Because
yeah.
that wasn't Bridget talking, but to come out and thank the Lord and thank the pastors and thank everybody else that has prayed for you and this and that, and then to immediately go into I'm effing tired and this. Sister. But that was the beginning. You know what I mean? So I mean, this whole thing, like you're running for city council.
Yeah.
If you're tired already, baby, this run ain't for you.
So I am. If I'm like Frank, I got some. I got some phone calls. I got one phone call.
I'm sure he did.
Yeah, I got one phone call that was ready to retaliate and be like, "Yo, I need to be on tonight. Let me." And then I was like, "You let me know when, okay?" This is an open forum.
Right,
and
right.
then part two was somebody was like, "As a man of God, as a minister, as a preacher, how dare you?" I hear you, but with that same statement, and I bring clarity to this, that when Bridget came, I was just a producer.
Right.
So I was paid to do a project. I did my project. I put it out on the platform that comes with the project.
Right.
That's it. I told you all the video, the thoughts, ideas, and all the, and got
You made
nothing
that
to do.
disclaimer in the beginning.
Not with my sponsors, not with my advertisers,
Right.
not me. So doing that, make sure my production was well. So I did that aspect of it, but yet she has to deal with the smoke and the consequences of the words that was chosen for her to speak. Boom. And certain things, now y'all don't want to be honest. I don't can I be
yes,
honest?
you could be fully
So
transparent.
I'm going to be honest with you. So, and I told her this too. Now, when I wasn't prepared for the cuss when it cussed. But when it cussed,
It cussed.
I said, somebody
Right.
is, feel some type of way authentically. And I just said, all right, this is your platform, but you got to deal with those consequences. And I think that when you say what you say, you just got to be accountable to that. I know people were like, as a preacher, as a man of God, as a businessman, I had a project to do.
Right.
And just let me be churchy for 30 seconds, because those things that say, the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the righteous, he's blessed me with the spot and the space to execute. I'm not for everybody, but I did what God told me to do, reach out to the politicians.
Come on.
And I did that.
You did.
And it yielded what it yielded. Thank y'all for my new followers who has joined the Fire 716 family. But I also think that certain things, and this is just me being honest, certain things didn't necessarily hit well.
Yeah,
for sure. And like I said, but you got to do with those consequences.
a lot of people, I've known Bridget like forever,
Yeah.
like even since I was younger. And honestly speaking, I've never heard her use that tone. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes you might not hear a peep out of her.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I was talking to somebody. They said, "Oh, I didn't even know she knew how to talk." Like,
great.
so for that
Yeah.
to be your first come like and rock, that
'Cause
wasn't.
We interviewed Bridget on Fire 716 radio about 2 years ago. At a
That
different
is what I was
location.
gonna say.
And that was just about, I think there were at that time, I believe that the mayor was going around the city. He was going around for something. I think maybe at the resource center. And she had came in, we talked about that, we talked about her story, what she had going on. And that was that. Like I said, her voice naturally is soft, it's gentle, it's not
Yes,
aggressive,
at
it's not
all.
those things. And that's when we found out some of her stories, some of her background.
So that is around the time that I saw her as well. Because I like I said, I've known her forever, and I just wasn't seeing it.
Yeah.
When I was running in 2023, I remember us going to the library out in LaSalle, and she was there. She was like getting the chair. She was passing out the water. She was like, and she was on the flyer with the mayor. So I'm like, okay, where Bridget come from? I ain't
Yeah,
seen Bridget
yeah,
in forever.
yeah.
So apparently, she said when she was on here, I'm 100% support. So that must have been where that came from. I feel as if they, the Democratic Party, chose her then. You know what I mean? Because when the seats was available, they were like, oh, 2 years it'll be up, another seat will be available. So I feel like they started grooming her at that time.
Wow.
Because honestly, I don't. And then when she got on the your show, she was saying how, like, calling people out for what they've done in the community.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know of anything that she's done in the community before 2023. Not saying that she hasn't done anything, but that is like the time where she kind of stepped on the scene.
Gotcha. For sure. So I don't know the details, so I'm going off what she stated. So I know that she was working inside of
City Hall. That's what I heard her say. Yeah.
Oh yeah, so not necessarily probably out, boots on the ground. probably not necessarily boots on the ground outside. And one thing that she mentioned this in an interview in 2023, that when her times got rough, the mayor showed up for her, and that may also add to her devotion to her commitment to him, which now also yields the Democratic Party to do whatever they want to do, because that's a whole other situation.
Okay. Okay. So me myself personally, I don't feel as if, like, if somebody is genuinely doing something for you, there is no payback.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
I appreciate you. You came through when I needed you.
Yeah.
Thank you. But if you're right, you're right. If you're wrong, you're wrong.
Absolutely.
I can't stand behind nobody that's wrong and then go on and say, like, I fully support. What are you talking about? Like, that just, I don't know. Like, that took me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, at the end of the day, you support whoever you want to support. But like I said, right is right and wrong is wrong.
Absolutely. These are not my words. I quotations. Black Ernie stated, I watched him the next day, that it was a power move, a tactic.
For sure.
And I said, I didn't even process it that way in that moment.
When he said it, not to cut you off, I apologize. When he said it, though, I said, ooh, because that's exactly how I felt.
Oh, wow.
But to hear Ernie say it, I'm like, yes, I knew I wasn't tripping. And honestly, like, if you haven't been in that situation, you probably don't know.
Absolutely.
So I know Ernie has helped with many campaigns and stuff like that. So, of course, that language would be memorable to him. Like, he understands that. But people that haven't run or anything like that, they wouldn't understand that dialogue. So she said, like she said, I 100% stand behind. So of course everybody that stands behind him is going to stand with her, because they feel as if she agrees with whatever he says or whatever he has going on. So all of his votes are definitely going to go to her.
Absolutely. And at the time of the video, I didn't process that, but Ernie said, I said, well,
yes,
they working.
Yep.
Now,
he said they working.
They working. They working and doing their due diligence. And I think that now I have, this is just my concept of the campaign overall, because like I said, people may not be aware, but I get phone calls, not just because of Bridgette videos, just even prior to.
Right.
And it's a whole lot of mess happening behind closed doors that's being exposed, and it's all over the place. And my question is, after you expose whoever, and we put that out there, I want to see a plan in place to start. It ain't gonna be overnight. I get it.
Absolutely not.
But a start to fix and address what needs to happen. Like I'm aware right now, there's some stuff being processed that might yield another video story. But hey, I deal with that when it comes.
Right. But. Absolutely. And another thing, I didn't. She addressed everybody, right? Both Dante.
Yeah.
The mother said that ain't the cousin.
Yeah. So let me bring some information. So, in the video, she stated that she was disowned. I'm gonna call her mother because it's my mother, Jordan. Thank you. Say no, you're not cousins. So then Bridgette had to go back and do some research, and then she came back and made a post and affirmed that no, they are not related.
Oh.
And so even his Miles is not even. He's here now, but he's not from here.
Right.
So.
I was literally gonna say, like, my oldest son is a Myles, Myles, and they're no relation.
Right.
So it is possible to have the same last name and not be related.
Right. So I have Myles in my family, but that's Myles, right? So I just assumed that every other Myles was y'all.
Yeah.
But no, I guess it ain't. Okay.
No.
So, but she did come back and say after doing her due diligence and research, she found out they're not cousins. So.
So for her to address Dante Richardson, Dante Miles, and Miss Arlene.
Yeah.
I feel the most important thing that she should have addressed was left out.
Yeah.
That was them signatures. you wanted to come and clear the air, bro, and like did not clear the air with the most important thing that is a felony and that could get you, man.
Yeah.
Bruh.
So.
Bro.
So yeah, and those things are being vetted. That's all I can say. Allegedly. So for sure.
I mean, that was what I was waiting for. Like, you know what I mean? Let's hear that. Let's hear about what's going on with that, because there's a lot of people online saying they did not sign. And I'm no expert, not at all. But a lot of those signatures did look the same.
Yeah. So I did not examine the signatures with the addresses. Then they reposted it without the addresses. But I know somebody had stated that somebody was in jail, so they couldn't assign.
Yes.
And so
it's just that whole situation is just crazy.
Yeah.
I think they should find out like what.
That's low key what I am waiting for before I do my second.
Because I thought it would be yesterday or today.
Right. I know.
No,
like
today.
I would have thought I would have heard something. I know that Lawrence Blaber is just running for a school board.
And
he found out that he was on the ballot. I think that's May 20th. But I haven't heard anybody else's validation.
Yeah. So I didn't know if the city council and the school board run off the same.
Yeah.
Like, or find out the information at the same time. But that's what I'm waiting for.
No, same. So when I get that report, then I'll do another reach out to the. Couldn't even know who's on the ballot at this point. Who making it? Who not?
Right.
And then whoever's not making it, we'll deal with that smoke as the fire. It's just a flame. But, we'll deal with that. Listen, we're going to take one more break. We'll be right back. Listen, you're locked into Just Conversations with myself, Frank Handley, Big Frank, all the same person, and my homegirl, Uniquia, today, my special guest. So don't go nowhere. We'll be right back. Just Conversations.
Menthol is not just a flavor. It's a manipulative way for big tobacco to target, attract, and addict Black Americans. Tobacco companies aggressively market menthol products using elements of Black culture, putting more products on shelves in Black communities and making them cheaper. And it's not just an injustice, it's killing us. Smoking-related illnesses are the #1 cause of death in the African American community. Help us fight this injustice at notjustmenthol.org.
Greetings and salutations. Welcome back to Just Conversation with your boy Frank Handley. Special guest today is Uniquia. And we just talked about, Bridgette Mylees' video. You got more questions about that? I told you I give the floor to you.
Yes, it was just a lot to dissect, honestly. Yes. Even the portion of the video where she discussed how her, Dante, Lakia Perry, she named a few people or whatever that interview for the seat
the endorsement for the Democratic.
To be endorsed. I honestly spoke with somebody that was present.
Yeah.
And when they said that she was the one that was being endorsed, they was like my mouth dropped. She was like, Lakia actually was way more qualified than Bridgette. So for her to be on there like, I got it, bro. No, I feel like that is a part of the Democratic Party. They do they do whatever they want to do.
Absolutely.
So I feel like, if it was going off experience or what they felt somebody could do, I don't think.
So I haven't been. I've never gone. So I don't know what that sit-in is like.
Yeah.
Like, is it six people?
I never gone into the sit-in either. Like I said, I don't know how it is run.
Yeah.
But like I said, I just spoke with somebody that was there and they was blown away. Like, they picked Bridgette over Lakia. Like, I was there. Like
I would like to know who's sitting.
I think Colin Ligamari is the head person of the Democratic.
Yeah.
She's like a Perry.
Democratic
Party.
Okay.
And don't get me wrong, as a person, like, I think Colin is cool, but as a politician, I mean, you never know. People go to the furthest extent. Just like I said when I was running, I'm not a politician. I'm
Right.
a real person.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I'm not one of those yes men. Like, if I don't agree, I don't agree.
Absolutely.
I'm transparent, and we all gonna be transparent. There ain't gonna be no behind the scene. That's probably why I ain't get picked. At the end of the day, it ain't gonna be no skeletons in the closet when it comes to this seat. Period.
Yeah. So I guess that is something. That is something that I now have a desire to just figure out. Like, I went to present myself. Who was all in the room? Whose votes counted? What were you looking for? What is the criteria?
Right.
What is it? And or is there somebody else behind the scenes egging a bigger agenda that says, hey, now I'm going to be who I am, okay? We're not going to endorse the one who's been fighting.
Right.
We're not going to endorse the one that's more qualified, but we're going to choose
the one that we can groom.
So those are not my words. It's not what I said, but hey, but like no,
that's just how I feel, honestly. Because like I said, I think Bridgette is an awesome person. But a politician, I don't really know if she is like strong enough to be a politician. Just from that interview, I know she watched it and wish she could take it back, because I wish that she didn't do it, and she not even, we not even. So at the end of the day, like I said, if you're frustrated already, this run isn't for you.
Talking to a previous politician, I'm not gonna say his name because that's my wise counsel, but what he said was that this journey gets messy.
It does.
And if you got any dirt, any challenges, anything, they will.
Now, how that man stuff came back from when he was 14, like they went to digging, but luckily he is an open book.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
He didn't care about none of that stuff they was bringing up.
Frank, I was young, trap house. It was all like valid. So
right. And me, I mean, I don't really got nothing for you to dig. You know what I mean? I'm pretty much an open book too. What you see is what you get. So I really didn't have any concerns or whatever at the end of the day, but. Like I said, I'm my own person, and I didn't allow anybody to like make me say or push me to say or push me to be anything. I ran as me. Valid,
for sure. And I think that right now that's what's required. So there's anybody behind anybody trying to create an ulterior motive. Like I said, it gets messy,
and it doesn't even feel authentic. Like I said, I was watching that. I could not get with it wasn't no authenticity in there. Like it went from the beginning. May have been authentic, because that is how I can say that I know of her to speak soft and subtle. But that after the thanks, so that was the other people. It was that was the pushed agenda.
Thank God for being amazing and awesome. You uncircumcised Philistine. Yeah, I get you.
And then I'm like the stuff that she was saying about them, like you don't. I mean, if you gotta go blow for blow to belittle, I mean, it's really not. Come on. And you've dealt with those kind of people in your life.
For sure. And I think also, and I'm going to just be very honest with you too, because whatever these spent narratives are from any person that's running, like you said before, y'all weren't messy. There was no mess in, no, listen, this is what it is. This is what's been proven. This is what's already out there.
This is what needs to be done.
This needs to be done. This is where we at. And I think that there's been narratives spent that may have yielded her frustration or whatever the case, and she might have went to whoever to write whatever, but then it got her to this point. But like I said, she has to give account for every word uttered in that video.
Absolutely.
So may the force be with you. And it's those things. And like I said, my hope is that there is a successful outcome this round, that we don't fall into, and that there's a plan in place for this 2-year turnaround. There has to be a plan in place because, and I'll just say this, and I'm going to be honest, and she was told not to come.
Really?
She was informed that she shouldn't do this because of my connection with Dante.
Really?
And I said to her, I personally don't hold no ties to nobody.
Right.
Which means that I know what this space is supposed to do, what it's supposed to yield. Those are truly my brothers. They got ideas that I agree with. They have a fight that I agree with. But whatever needs to happen here happens here. So whether you're Democratic, Republican, Independent, working families, I'm not pressed. Okay.
At all.
At all. The man upstairs is my go-to.
Period.
So
Period.
I'm not pressed. So and let me just I'm getting in trouble now. I guess we're gonna talk about it now. We here. Might as well. So because I've been informed maybe a year ago that there is a disdain towards me because of my association.
Really? I can see that.
Yeah.
Because that was, I mean, they definitely, like, so I feel like I had an issue with that as well.
Yeah.
There was people, excuse me, there was people that wanted to sign for Demetrius and didn't want to sign for me. And there was people that wanted to sign for me but didn't want to sign for him. And we was on the same petition, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I guess you can never really please everybody.
That's why even on the council meeting that I went to, he was mad at me then. But my one friend was like, I am disappointed in you.
What?
I said, don't be too bad. I was just paid to do a thing.
That's it.
She said, that's it, that's all. She said, oh, okay. I was a little disappointed. I said,
Yeah.
friend. She said, okay, I ain't that bad. But what happens is you have to realize that I'm designed to create a platform. And that's all I'm here to do.
And that's all
And
you
that
did.
platform is allow you to speak. Somebody gonna probably roast me about talking to you.
Right.
Like, why you like that?
You Uniquia, get on.
Valid. But I think that the people have to be aware.
Right, and I feel like the conversations are needed.
Absolutely.
You need to know and understand how people think, what they feel, what they plan to do.
Absolutely.
Like, the conversation is absolutely needed. That particular conversation that Bridgette had, I don't know if it displayed her in the best light.
Yeah. So with that video, and I'll express it, and feel free to call me Bridgette. Feel free, it's okay. Is that it should have been something like this, an interview style. That's what the idea was originally.
Yeah.
But she had some points that she wanted to address.
Which still could have been done.
Absolutely.
I feel like the times that we're in, you could have said to Chat GPT what you wanted to say in a better, you know what I'm saying? A better delivery. She did not have to swear not one time. She could have got her point across, and she could have, still been Bridgette, not Bridgette. Because I don't know who that was.
No valid. So then the turn was just, Frank, can you just produce this video? Okay, got you. I'll just produce it. Thank you.
She just wanted to do the video and produce it.
And you just produce it.
She didn't want to have the conversation.
The conversation and dialogue. And I was okay with that. Okay, cool. But then that video yielded at the city hall. I won't say that. I'll preserve their name for now.
Yeah.
But they was like, that thing was demonic.
Ooh.
And I said that I was just like, she got to give account to everything that she said. Everything.
Yeah, and I definitely got that from some other people too. They said, oh my goodness, as soon as she started going off, I couldn't even watch no more. I said, see, I thought it was just me. But I listened, I watched the whole thing, and I even watched a little bit more because I thought I was tripping. And then I'm like, yeah, no, that's what she said. That's how she meant it.
That's how she meant it. Oh, she meant, and that's how meant it. So
even the situation with Arlene, about her saying like she don't support the park or whatever. Bridgette saying she don't support the park. The park location never changed. Like they've been speaking of the same location ever since she came out with. She crossed her T's and dotted her I's. She got the drawings, the land survey, whatever she had to do, she did. And I do recall Bridgette having a meeting in 2023 for the park.
Yeah.
She was all for the park.
Yeah.
So what changed from then to now?
Yeah. I know that because Arlene Dawes did her due diligence, over 1,000 signatures.
Come on.
So, and like I said, that conversation from now to then, I don't know what changed, what rearranged. But at the same time, though, the city of Niagara Falls is just piss poor in its care and concern regarding it.
Absolutely. So I hear that there was a park just recently built or getting built.
Yes. So I talked to my father, who happens to be a plumber for a company unmentioned, who's not paying for advertisement, and he was just saying that they were just doing work in Lake Sal, and they had just finished doing a park out that way. That is just, he said, he ain't used the word masculine because he's still a OYN, but what he said, man, it's really state of the art out there. Right. What about our kids? Right. But then we want to use the finances to build
A
dog shelter and then call it storage and then take it off of the agenda, but then have
slide it in.
slide it in. And this is what I said. When it slid it in, y'all did if they don't call it out, we'll keep it. If they do, we'll change it.
I felt the same way.
But when you did that, though, what Dante just posted, y'all got a special
meeting tomorrow at 6 p.m.
for a dog shelter in Grand Island again with only 10 kennels, which is the same problem we had before with the pit chick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. That whole thing is just like crazy to me or whatever, because like if that was the case, like you should have never canceled the contract with the SPCA. I feel like they were doing a good job.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I mean,
better. Yeah.
What we got going on here is a mess.
It really is. It was racist. I was just driving behind a pit chick 2 days ago. Her license plate literally said pit chick. So I was like, oh, this must be them.
Yeah, this
I
must
said, oh, this is the second time I done seen you, but I'm gonna leave y'all alone. Let y'all live.
Yeah.
But I think that the city of Niagara Falls is just they don't do their due diligence. They don't do it. Now I'm about to say something which is really off topic but on topic. The people that are the special meeting for in Grand Island petition or they answered a proposal. Usually when you go in there, I'm gonna present this opportunity, you can take it or not.
Right.
But my question now is, could we have come together collectively with Paws in the Falls and sent a proposal out that we could be the choice? Because I know that Paws in the Falls has a space and availability, and she's been fighting for it.
I was gonna say Paws in the Falls is begging for the
begging
contract. And the only reason I feel as if Paws in the Falls is not an ideal location or space for whatever agenda they have is because of the personal issue that the mayor has with the actual individual.
Absolutely. And it is personal because the space that they have
is
massive.
Exactly.
They're in, and I used to live over that way, so there's one building, but there's two additional, like, huge.
Not to mention, they even still take in dogs.
Yeah.
No contract, no nothing. They just the love for the dogs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like I said, I don't really understand that whole spiel or whatever that the mayor got going on with them. But it's personal.
It is, and
it's definitely personal.
Yeah, and we already know about some behind the scenes situations. I'm gonna let you live, Mayor. I'm gonna let you live.
We need to bring him on.
Bring
have
him
a
on.
conversation with him
and just call it out. And he probably like, shut him down, get him out of there. No, valid. But these are the things. But like I said, there are information that people do have, information that people don't have, and I think that people need the information so that they can make wise choices.
Exactly.
And not be manipulated or not be taken advantage of. Know what's going on. Like I did the video last week after City Hall, and I did the video to break down what had occurred and happened.
Right.
And I feel like I would like to continue doing that because everybody can't make it.
Right.
But can everybody be aware?
And that is another reason why I always attend and I record live.
Yeah.
I always go live. I do feel like more individuals should show up because it's better to be there in person.
Absolutely.
So that they can see that you care, that you understand, that you know what I mean, that you're looking to find out what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, I go live and I make the post and you know what I mean? So that breakdown or whatever that you do, that would be awesome if you continue it. But the way that the people showed up this time, if y'all continue to show up like that at every meeting, I promise things will get better a lot sooner. The people don't show up, so they feel the need to do whatever it is that they want to do for the money that's supposed to be allocated for these areas that need the help.
Right. Allegedly.
Because
clearly, I just don't understand. And even Niagara, I just seen in Niagara Gazette maybe a few weeks ago that they just got $800,000 to invest in. It might be $8 million. They got money to invest specifically in the development for the view of Niagara Falls.
Really?
And it's like, well, how did y'all get that for that? But we still have a city that is just suffering. Yeah, so priorities.
Yo, and I commend Mr. Hilton.
Yes.
How he got up there and spoke. Oh, man. He said exactly what needed to be said.
Absolutely.
And I said the same thing because, like, when we were running, me and Nix were running for, council.
Yeah.
We had petitions as well, like, going around to have the city give us 100 houses.
Yeah.
there's plenty of houses that's
Absolutely.
boarded up,
Absolutely.
look crazy or need work done or whatever the case may be. So we were having petitions signed to get those houses.
Yeah.
Not even asking for any funds.
Yeah.
We can give the community those houses
Yeah.
and allow us to fix those up
Absolutely.
ourselves.
Absolutely.
What you think came of that?
Not enough.
Oh, okay.
Not
Because
enough.
they have an agenda. We just don't know what it is.
Absolutely.
And I feel like it's honestly to just allow everything to just deteriorate and then do what they want to do with the land.
But even that is they're not wise, because they say that and then they give it to companies who don't have any finances to do what they said. You're not vetting the people. So y'all gave these buildings on Main Street to these people. They did nothing with it.
Come on.
And I'm gonna say this, and I have no disrespect. I love the artwork. I love the expression of it. I love taking something that's dilapidated, turning it into beauty. But where is the next level of investment to turn those buildings around, train people to do electrician work, train to do carpentry work, partner with entrepreneurs, build a program and a plan to really develop this to be something?
Yes.
So
I totally agree. I agree with that as well.
they just, but like they said, the right people got to be in place. And I'm gonna say something now. I'm gonna say this and hopefully it triggers somebody. And they said that they need somebody who's going to be in a position of power to fight for the people. Now, I ran into somebody who was both Caucasian and black. And they said, we need a black mayor. And not just for color purposes, but somebody who understands the plight and is willing to fight for us, not just in the city, but in Albany, so that things are allocated differently.
So when we were running, we actually was thinking about, doing like a protest or something. So
Wow.
kind of like outside of Albany.
Yeah.
To bring some noise here, because it's like the things that's going on here, this can't be.
It can be.
Something gotta shake.
Something got to shake. Because if anybody else was bringing in their cousin, their auntie, their uncles, their nieces, their nephews, their grandkids, their great-grand, it'd be a whole situation.
No, seriously.
A whole
like,
situation.
I don't need, like, some of these people probably ain't even qualified, but they getting
just you got it. Come on, nephew, I'll give it to you.
Right. These promotions, so it's a lot going on that should not be going on.
Absolutely.
And as far as in the lawyer, I'm over him. You get him out of here.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say this, and I done seen you walking down the block with your boo a couple of times. I ain't gonna call her name out, but they live in DeVoe. I just know that I may not be. I see you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you ain't that cocky.
Yeah. I want to say something slick, but I can't think of the song. It's a song that goes, sitting in the fast car, dun 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 dun. The girl you be walking with like that. Fast car. Yeah, the lady the young lady that he be rocking with, it kind of looks similar. So, but what happens is I believe you're educated, I believe you know what you're doing, and I think that oversights can happen. But I think that the way that you move and you navigate is on some slick stuff. And I use specifically the whole dog shelter agenda. You read this. You wrote this, you read it again, and you submitted it anyway, hoping that thing would just slide through. That if it did, and I can almost hear the conversation, that if it slide, it slide, but if it don't, it don't. And if it didn't slide, here's a motion. Now I'm making a motion to take it off. Why didn't you take it off in the beginning? Why didn't you remove it then? And then your resistance to the questions that's asked concerning a matter, you say things such as, you should have sent this in the email, but when I did, you didn't reply.
Just like when Dante sent him some information, he never told him what was the issue with it or nothing. Like, so when we get to the meeting is when you want to break down, you didn't do this. You didn't ask me. You didn't.
Right. And I was present for that meeting, and I recall, and it's like, wait a minute.
What are you talking about?
If you don't have the space for the energy to do your due diligence to guide the council.
Why are you here?
Why are you here? And I think when I hear him communicate and I hear that come out, it gives the illusion of the process. You're not really for us.
Exactly. And I always said, how can he be for us and the mayor?
Right.
The conflict that the people have is with the mayor. That's a conflict of interest because you work for both.
Right. And
how was that even
and
possible?
the people was already frustrated because people that came for the first time, like, where the mayor at?
Right.
I was
And
like,
I'm like, yeah, he does
yeah,
not
he
show
does
up.
not
Yeah,
show up
he
here.
don't come to these. If it's something, get a few pictures or whatever, he
Yeah.
might show up, but yeah, no, he
Yeah,
don't.
so-
And then he doesn't have to be there. Like I said
Yeah.
in the chart, he wrote it though. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's just a lot going on with that. I wish
Yeah.
he would be present, so a lot of these issues don't run on.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But he's
Yeah.
a coward, I guess. I don't know.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, he's a coward.
So, but and we have at bare minimum 2 more years to more deal with them, I guess.
Yeah.
And then, but like I said, it is my hope and my prayer that there is a plan in place, that there are changes to be initiated, started, and that there is a bit of aggression in the plan of action.
There's actually a woman that is looking to run for mayor.
Okay.
She says she's gonna start now
Okay.
and do whatever it is that she needs to do to make certain that when it's time for election for that seat, that
Valid.
the mayor does not get reelected.
Absolutely.
So I said, okay. Now. All right now, black woman.
Yes, go. No, Val, go ahead, Queen. And like I said, there are individuals who are silently preparing for things to change.
Yeah.
So when I say that, where's the plan at? Is one working? Absolutely. Can't wait till it's presented to those required or necessary, so that we can make sure that we are moving aggressively in that. So
Back. I
come on
backtrack.
back. Go ahead,
I
come on
gotta
back.
backtrack for a second because this just came to me how okay, so I was speaking with somebody and they actually said that they signed Bridgette's petition, but she wasn't the one that actually had the petition. It was she said it was 2 black girls that was going around getting signatures for her. And they asked what was it for, what it was for, and she said that it was for the park project. So the lady said, I signed, and I said, oh. Did you? But that takes me back to when we were running, and Archie did the same thing. So people thinking that they just supporting him, because he's running for city council. He never said anything about the mayor being on his petition or Perry. So there was an incident where one of Nick's family members signed for Archie.
Yes.
But once you sign his, you can't sign exactly because you already signed for mayor and you already signed for 2 city council seats.
Wow.
So they all a part of the same team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this team that y'all running, this team ain't got too many.
Yeah, I would encourage the people to be. I know the petitions are signed now, but you have to be aware.
You must read.
And
for one.
valid.
You gotta read.
Yeah, and not just sign off the whim of, because people will present things a certain kind of way.
Absolutely.
And they get your signature, you go, all right, and then be like, oh, wait a minute, I don't recall. Wait a minute, I thought that was for. Yeah. So
she didn't say that. Yeah, you have to read.
Yeah, and you have to. So that's why I'm not really either as a preacher, I'm not a fan of politicians in churches.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of that notion, because I don't want anybody to think that my affiliation with whomever the politician is, that because I'm the man of God and I said something that you got to know, you better talk to God, you better read for yourself.
For yourself.
And it's like, not saying that I don't love them or I don't have that compassion for them, but for me, I believe that the church has a place in politics, but inside these walls, it is a God connection. My life is on the line. Y'all do y'all due diligence. I also suggest that the churches send representatives to the city hall meeting and also back to the church and be that dialogue to what's happening, what's going on, and what's about to happen next.
Right. What we need to do to come together.
Valid.
Because when we were running, we sent a letter out to every church. You know how many we got back?
2.
0.
0?
Not one response. Not one. So I said, is the mayor in charge of the people? Like I don't know. It was weird. It was really weird or whatever, to not have not one response. So.
Valid. And I think that we miss, because I'm the preacher, okay? I don't know if we got a letter or not. I don't have the P.O. box. But what I will say is that if you're not in tune to what needs to really happen, you will have your own perception, your own idea, and you can miss a movement. So I'm not giving no access or okay to churches that didn't respond, all those things. What I will say is that we talk about people living well and want to prosper and do these things, and I believe so. But if they don't know what's happening to the area that they're in, they're not aware of what's going on.
Right.
They'll be subject to the same situation. And then if they don't read and they don't tap in, they're not aware, they'll move out of habit, Miles.
Yeah.
Okay, and not be able to vet really what Miles, this is Miles. I've been voting for Miles. Miles is Miles. I'm Miles. We're moving on versus doing your due diligence to see, hey, is this the person I want to vote for? So,
right.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I have my my candidates in mind that I'm, you know, rooting for.
Well,
I mean, but
and then I'm about to get it. I'm not gonna say that.
let's be transparent.
Yeah, be
Frank.
transparent. Yes. So I was going to say something regarding something else, because sometimes what I don't do is I just don't talk about certain things. But my political decisions, I talk to God. Let's move. What's the plan? What do I believe in? What I believe that this is going to yield, and where do I think I'm going to be at in my placement? All right. These are the moves I'm making. So I gather information. I watch how you move. I watch how you conduct yourself, how you talk. I watch your posts. I watch I don't watch every live video. I'm just checking to see. I'm checking to see what I'm checking to see. And then when I see it valid, all right, let's go. And like I said, I move based upon what I believe the unction is to go. All right, we're going. This fit. Now, like I told people at City Hall, I'm going to hold the politicians accountable. I'm going to also hold the community accountable, because we all have a role to play. So all that, I'm not going to vote. Well, you need to get out and vote. You need to register.
You need to educate yourself and see why it is important for you to vote. I've told so many people that your local politics is way more important than the big government. Y'all get out and vote for that. This is what matters. This is what affects you immediately. Like,
because you'll vote for the big one and they'll allocate some money to you, but your local politicians put it in their pocket.
Come on.
Moving to the left, and you be like, oh, what happened? I thought we was getting this stimulus. No.
Yeah.
They moved it to the recovery room system for my Aunt Betsy. Like, they just moved it around. Like, but I think that voting is important. It is crucial.
It is.
Especially for your local government. Find out who's in charge of doing what and what pull they have.
And what you could do to be of assistance.
Absolutely.
Because, I mean, all of that is important. And another thing that I was going to say, the people that are running for city council, it is very important to go to the city council meetings.
Yes.
I have never seen Bridgette at a city council meeting. I've been going to city council meetings before I ran, when I ran. I still go now. I have never saw her at a city council meeting. So I don't really, so Bridgette, get to the meeting, sweetheart. But, you know, some people probably got the inside of the meeting of what's going on already and don't really need to show up. They feel like it's pointless for me to go. I already know what they're going to say. You know what I'm saying?
But I encourage, but you need to be there. And I think even Dante said it like before. I was beating that podium long before.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Long before I ran or decided to run.
Right.
It wasn't necessarily his idea or his goal, but the passion, the drive. Yeah. But you need to be present, you know? So. That's a real statement. That's a real statement. So, yeah. I'm just checking out all your points. Anything else on?
That be they go.
Okay, what y'all don't see is my girl got a bullet point. I don't know if it's Chat GBT. It's just bullet points. Okay, and I yielded her the floor for a reason. Okay, what you want to get into?
I just want to say, like, I don't know. Like, I honestly just don't. I just feel like people should be authentic.
Absolutely.
Be yourself. And that goes for anybody that's running, because we can tell a fake when we see a fake. Absolutely. And I'm not voting for no fake. I ain't helping no fake. I'm being authentic. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And even Archie. I like Archie as a person, but I honestly feel like sometimes when he's up there voting, of course Bax is gonna say yes. Perry, Zajac, they're gonna say yes, right? Even if it doesn't if it don't hurt them or benefit them, who cares? They're gonna.
I ain't heard them say no. I'm gonna just be very honest now. I haven't gone to every meeting, but I ain't heard them say no.
Exactly.
I've heard them give reasons. I've heard them give reasons why not, just to say yes.
Oh, okay. And Bax does this whole little breakdown thing like she's looking for more information just to still say.
Yes.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
But so it's always the 3 yeses or the 3 nos,
Yeah.
depending on what the agenda is.
Mm-hmm.
And I do feel like sometimes Brian just says yes or no, like to whatever Dante is saying, to agree with him, just to make it seem like he's a part of. You know what I mean? Because it really wouldn't matter whether he said yes or no. You know what I mean? Because they already got the 3. It's always going to be 3 against 2 regardless.
Gotcha, for sure.
You get what I'm saying? So sometimes, like, and then, like, the last meeting when he was, like, digging for the information, I thought he was digging for the information to have it tabled or something. Because the people were saying, okay, well, why is they charging 42 for this when it's really only 16?
Yeah.
And there's nothing that we can see where these numbers came from. You know what I mean? Because I'm not sure where Lawrence got the information.
Yeah.
But apparently he did his due diligence and he looked up this information along with Miss Tanya Barone. The people seen the numbers.
Yes.
So if it really cost $1,600, why y'all saying it cost $4,200?
Right.
So Brian, I thought he was like, I was liking where he was going with it, and then when they voted, I said, wait a minute now, hold on. I thought you was gonna say, table it or whatever to get the information to the people. And he was like, well, no, that's a valid. I know them and I trust it. We don't. We do not. We the people do not trust them.
Yeah.
But I mean, it would have been good for him to table it because it would have been a 2 for 2.
Yeah.
And Zajac wasn't there, so it would have worked out perfectly. But he went ahead and said, and they just went on through. So it's like
the talking to one of my previous individuals who were on the council of the days of old, talks about trying to find the balance between being able to accomplish something and being the fighter.
Right.
And I think that every person has to figure out
where
they at and how that fits, how that flows. But at the end of the day, though, there should be an accomplishment happening on behalf of the community that elected you to represent it.
Yes.
And that's required across the board. But we already understand. Y'all can go ahead and just report me when you get a chance. But the people who have been the yesers consistently don't even know the full details of what they're saying yes to. One of them, no names mentioned, can't read well.
I be wondering, is he sleep half the time, or is he just that disconnected that he does not care?
Yeah.
Like it's almost like, listen, when the people get up and they start speaking this him, wake up, Perry.
Yeah. And I think that those, let's just call a spade a spade.
Absolutely.
Those characteristics that are displayed, unfortunately, is not that shows an intellectual or somebody who is attentive and someone who respects the community.
Right.
And I say that because you're not even in tune to what's happening at the moment that people are speaking. That it takes somebody on the side to whisper, to hit, or to say, hey, stop this. They violated this. Or, you're not even in tune to the moment.
No.
But you want to be there because you're offended. And I don't even know if you really understand your offense.
Not at all.
Because I'm like, wait a minute, because you talking about 11, but private, this is a public, wait a minute, but I'm just, okay. And then hearing you to read, oh, wait, we got a problem, Okay. And I'm going to just say this, and I think I said earlier, that there was a better candidate for that seat
for sure
on the baseline.
Off
the baseline.
Period. And that's another thing where I feel a certain type of way. Like, why is he not in that seat?
Yes.
He should have been there.
Absolutely.
So the one vote needed.
Yeah.
I just don't understand.
I understand that. And I think nobody Nobody wants to be vetted. And this, I'm just call it, like I said, we playing spades today.
Right.
Throwing another one. But I
It
think
gotta
that
be Uno. I don't really know how to play.
okay. I got a good baseline. Okay, now if I renege, don't judge me. Just no. So what happens now is though, whether with the wild card, let me change the game. Is that I think Dante calls for transparency. He's calls for a vetting of things, and that may seem like it's always a fight, but the truth of the matter is, we have made this mayor, the last mayor, piss poor agreements and accepted things that has not yielded us but more problems. And if we're not vetting the capability, we're not vetting our finances, we're not vetting what it is, we are going to be a struggling city continuously. Because everybody's coming with a proposal, an idea, and what you do is, number one, you take it and don't vet it, or two, you delay so long that you miss the deadline that you got to now just take anything to meet the marker. And then we're left with literally sinkholes, literally cars are falling. Like I'm talking about on 18th Street, seeing the bricks, underneath the bricks is emptiness.
It's bad too or whatever, because like even by the schools, like the potholes is so bad. You might if somebody behind you, they might think you drunk. How you dodging them?
Somebody was just on Facebook driving down 6th Street and hit a pothole. So he said he hit his face on his. I said, that's crazy. He pulled over out the car. Like, that is ridiculous. Man. And my car will be in the shop because all the tie rods and everything is off.
And the crazy part is, if you driving out like towards the nursing home in Lewiston, the roads are. What they using? Where they getting that asphalt from?
No, valid, because ours don't stay. And these fillings only make the road bumpy.
Right, and then I just don't agree with the way they be spending the money. Certain things, it seems like it can just be an easy fix. Yeah. Even the mics. Did you see how they was passing around the mic?
Do a mic survey. Because at this point, there's no reason why we cannot hear you.
Oh, okay.
There's no reason why we can't be in tune. What's happening with the kids in the back on their phones doing the video and the camera at the same time? Like, if they're not in tune to trying to fix things for real, what is that intern? Now that's good. Is that internship? Is that what's happening over here? But let's do better, because poor sound, that means that we're hearing it bad in the room. Who's watching it online from your point of view? That's bad audio. We're not communicating well. But invest and fix that. Right. That's light work.
Simple fix.
Simple.
Exactly.
Light work. But you guys have to put that. I really believe that you don't have a true care. Yeah. And I'll say that as a citizen, like, it gives off. You really don't care. I hear y'all do. I used to do a report about Niagara Falls. It was the falls. It's the hotel revenue. It's the parking. But when you start breaking out this way, what? Okay. What? Like,
and it's so sad. All of the tourists and everything that come here, there is nothing for them to see. And
it's nothing compelling for them to see that way. And I even said this recently. I talked about our restaurants this morning. It's like we got restaurants that have amazing food, but they're placed in places that just look like ain't nothing happening. Ain't nothing happening. I got roasted on social media about the atmosphere because I ain't put them on a soul food list. Calm down, killers. But what happens is that it's sitting in a space that when I come through here, this is just the church across the street is abandoned. The store next door to it, behind it is a little closed. The parking lot is empty. Is anything really happening here? He just got a new sign. Congratulations to that. Brings some appeal. But there's nothing. Let me say that I am not aware of anything in place that's going to draw the tourism that comes here to the city. I'm not aware of, do we have food cuisine options? Are we on it? What does our marketing look like? What is the investment?
We need a developer, like not to come here and do whatever it is that they're looking to do for their self to pocket.
Don't come and develop Whirlpool Street so you can bypass the problem. Because that's what you did. People came, y'all built the track, you got all these lights and all this new decorum so that when they hit 3rd and Main, they can go straight and see some good greenery, decent houses, get to the Camellos, go underneath the viaduct, go to go under the viaduct. Then you got a little turn to go into the Underground Railroad train station.
That's it.
But on the other side,
It's
is dilapidation. It is just the undeveloped business district.
And you know what's so crazy? The one lady I used to work with, her family came to visit, and her husband asked. He said, "Why does it look so bad on this side?" He said, "It's like a line where they don't care about this portion of the city." And I said, "You know what's so crazy? It's crazy that you said this your first time visiting here, and you noticed that off rip.
Absolutely.
That is crazy."
And I used to drive Uber. Like, hey, where can we go?
I don't even have anywhere to tell you.
To go because of the simple fact that it's not developed. It's not, and then don't get me on that because
then the ones that do come, they fix up these houses, and then they try to charge your arm and a leg, and then it's like it's just too much.
It's too much. Then I think they're working on it now, a Black Business Bureau situation. For those people who are entrepreneurs in the city, they got to figure it out on their own. Like there's where's the resources?
Right.
Where's the avenue, the revenue? But we want to spend $4.5 million on a dog shelter, which doesn't even include the roof being repaired. It just doesn't make sense.
So like at the Entrepreneur School of Thought, so that is like a part of the plan. That is what we were looking to, the direction we were looking at.
Yeah.
So there are people that was able to like come in and start businesses and things like that. And that's what you want them to do. You want them to come in, get their stuff together, and go.
Absolutely.
Then you want a new batch to come in, get their stuff together, and go.
Absolutely.
If anybody is able to come and teach some people there, of course, it's just going to be something that you like to do because we don't have any money to pay anybody.
Right.
And we did not set up a 501c3 to make it like, get government funding because once you get government funding, what they do, tell you how to spend the money. So at the end of the day or whatever, there's a lot of people that have a lot of great ideas, but they're just at a standstill.
Absolutely.
We have done a lot of things at the Entrepreneur School of Thought and produced a lot of great, people and businesses and stuff. So.
And I think you need that cultivation. You need that. And then when it gets challenging, you need that support. Hey, what can I do now? How can we revamp this? Right. And if it's not there, you'll feel by yourself, isolated, all alone. And and I think that because of the city's failure to provide resources, they assist in that division indirectly. Now I got to get in my own. I got to grind. I got to stay over here. Now I'm really mad at you. In reality, I look at a city that's 30 minutes away, and I'm seeing programs and things set up that's designed to help people move forward and advance and make things happen.
Like, how come we can't mimic that here? If it can be done there, it can be done here.
It can be done here. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Just apply it to these streets. Like, there's a better way. Absolutely. I'm not saying that they're perfect. I'm not saying they got it together all the way, that they ain't got their own challenges. But there's some things that they do look at me. They do good that we can also implement here in the city of Niagara Falls. Anything else on your points? Listen,
I'm gonna have to come back on another show when I tell you.
We're going to have a whole series. It's called Uniquia. No, valid. Because you about to go to the meeting, and then there's going to be more information.
Right.
I have to give her y'all can go ahead and cast your votes and just tell me to give her a segment, and we can go ahead and make that thing come alive. But I thank you for rocking with me today. I appreciate you for real.
For sure. I enjoyed the conversation. Good conversation.
No, good conversation, good dialogue.
Sure. And if I offended anybody, I did not intentionally mean to offend you. I'm just authentic. You know what I mean? And I could appreciate any feedback, good or bad.
And just as a safety precaution, these are not the thoughts of Fire 716 Radio, Frank Handley, or its advertiser, or Handley Holding Studios. But if you need to call me, feel free to reach out to me. You can email me at fire716radio@gmail.com. And if you got something to say, just holler at me. We'll make space for you. Thank y'all for rocking with us. This is Just Conversations. It's been special guest, Uniquia. And I'm your host, Frank Handley. I holler at y'all. Y'all be blessed. Peace.